Hello, everyone. Welcome to another day of 21 Days of Self-Care. I have my good friend Gilda here with me. So, Gilda, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Tolani. I'm Gilda Shannon. I run Craniosacral Ottawa here in Ottawa. I work with clients to help to let go of pain and holding patterns, and I help people reorient to health.
I love that. So, most people, when they hear craniosacral therapist, they're always like, "What is that?"
Yeah, or how
And
do I even say it?
how do you even say it? And I know that you are specifically a biodynamic craniosacral therapist. So, tell us what that means for those who are like, "What is that? What does it mean?"
Yeah, so biodynamics means we listen to what the body wants to share and we follow the body's wisdom. Craniosacral, it's a word that comes from body parts. So cranium and then sacrum at the other end of the spine. I tune into the structures and the systems and the organs in the body, and I'm feeling for moving patterns, holding patterns, what's moving in health and what isn't. And then I'm encouraging healthy movement.
Okay. That sounds really lovely. And it sounds simple, actually. It's like, it seems very like natural. You're kind of just going with what the body is doing or not doing and encouraging it to do more of what it should be doing.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. A big piece of the biodynamics is also we're listening for or feeling for what's ready to happen and what's able to happen given how resourced somebody is.
Right.
So we often use the term trauma informed or client led. And those terms basically mean I'm not going to get anyone to do anything that they're not ready to do.
Right.
So until a body has enough resource within and until someone has enough resources around them, we're not going to start a healing process until someone's ready for it.
Right. And how can people get themselves ready, or how can you tell as a practitioner if they're ready or not?
Yeah, those are the good questions right there. Well, the body is always working towards health. Like when we get sick, we spike a fever.
Right.
That's the body fighting off germs. And when someone has had an experience, like an impact experience, and that experience is held in the body, we brace, or we can do all kinds of different things to, in the moment, kind of counter what we've experienced, and then afterwards, the body will do different things to mitigate what has happened. So, what I'm looking for in an experience or when I work with someone is, are they safe? That's the real question. So is someone safe enough to start to let go of some of the responses to an experience that are no longer needed?
Right. That's really lovely. And do you do that mostly by feeling or asking questions or a combination of both?
Yeah, it's a combination of both.
Okay.
I'm tuning into the nervous system a lot. So noticing if someone's in activation, if they're regulated. And I'm always talking with my clients. I'm checking in.
Right.
I'm letting them share what they're experiencing. And part of what I do is also helping people to have those conversations with their own body. So our body speaks to us through felt sense experience. So it's like, what do I feel in my body?
Right.
That's the body's way of letting me know what's happened, what's okay, what isn't okay.
So it's like just tuning in more. And so through what you do, it builds capacity for your clients to also just understand the body better because it's speaking.
Yeah.
Why do you think we don't listen to the body most of the time? Am I right in saying that a lot of us just don't listen to our bodies? Why not?
Well, I think there's a few ways to answer this. And first of all, like, there's no judgment around that.
Of course not.
Right?
Yeah.
Part of it is there's so much that happens within our bodies that we don't pay attention
Right.
to, and we would be overwhelmed if we did.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like breathing, we do that without thinking. We do that without being conscious.
Yes, yes.
And if we pay attention to our breath, sometimes that can really throw us off. Even.
Yep.
Digestion's another thing.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of information that is within us that our brains don't engage with. They just happen. So that's one reason why we don't pay attention.
Right, because it would just be overload, stimulus overload.
And I think the other reason is we all live really fast-paced lives a lot of the time. And slowing down and going inward is, I think, something that we have to learn. And then after we've slowed down and gone inward, then paying attention to sensation is something else to learn.
Right.
So it doesn't always serve us to slow down and check in with what's going on when what we have to do is reach a deadline or pick up our kids from school,
right,
or do a million other things that are on our list.
Yeah. And it makes me think of kind of like the, like context. Like if a bear is chasing you, for example, it's not the best time to check in with yourself. You just gotta keep running.
Yeah.
And I've heard that often in the modern day, we live as if a bear is always chasing us.
Yeah.
And so how do we, what are the times of the day when you think, for most of us, we can kind of just do that and not try to rush the kids out or this, that, or,
Oh, I love that question too. Yeah. Our reality is we're often in hypervigilance, checking, rushing, the adrenaline is going, even just getting text messages, getting those pings.
Dopamine all the time.
Set us off. So I think one of the things I do with my clients is we work at what is self-care and when can I bring it into my life.
I love that.
And it's different for everyone. Sometimes putting a sticky note on the bathroom mirror, asking where feels good in my body, is a way for someone to check in first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Sometimes it makes sense to take an intentional break during work, schedule it on the phone. When the alarm goes off, take 10 minutes, take 2 minutes, do some breathing and just notice what you notice in your body. And breaking up the workday allows just a little bit more downregulation. Sometimes it's after we pick the kids up from school, and together as a family, we can check in, do some breath work, do some stretching, notice what we notice. So I don't think it matters when in the day,
right?
As long as we try it out.
Yeah. And just maybe experiment with different times, different ways, and see what works.
Yeah.
I like that. I love what you said about 10 minutes, 2 minutes. It's it doesn't have to be this whole ritual, 1 hour ritual. Some people picture.
Well, and that's not even achievable for so many of us.
Absolutely.
Even for me, I think looking after ourselves doesn't have to be another list or another thing to try and get to. It's what feels good? What can I do that's achievable? What can I do that doesn't add more stress?
Right.
And then incrementally, we can change just what the rhythm is.
Yeah. I love those questions. We're going to make those journaling prompts.
I love it.
What can I do that's achievable? What feels good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Small changes, basically. I love that a lot. So obviously we're doing 21 days of self-care. So I'm going to ask you to define self-care in your own words. How would you define self-care?
You think I would have thought of this beforehand? Honestly, for me, self-care is doing something that helps me feel good. It really can be that simple.
Right.
So often, what feels good for me really is slowing down, or it's creating a small ritual. It doesn't have to be an hour-long meditation. So sometimes just making a cup of tea and sitting out in the garden and taking a minute to myself. That feels like self-care, sometimes as much as having a bath with lots of Epsom salts.
Yeah.
Or getting to the ocean. Because that's a bit of bit of a stretch right now.
Right. Yeah, Ottawa.
Yeah.
Maybe a river,
Yeah,
but not
take
quite.
a river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
It's whatever feels good.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be small, it could be big, it could be ocean if you're close to an ocean, or it could just be.
I always let people know, like, get outside into nature, look at trees.
Yes.
Even listening to birds. All of those ways of connecting to nature help us to down regulate the nervous system. And if that's not possible, like if you can't actually leave your work to go outside, you can take 30 seconds and just breathe and notice what you notice in your body. And it doesn't have to be big.
Right.
It really doesn't.
Yeah. So you use the term down regulating the nervous system. So for those who don't fully understand what that is, what that means, or why it's even important, can you break down why we talk that way?
Yeah, I talk that way a lot. So it's good to like stop me and break it down. Our nervous system keeps us alive. It also is how we take in information from the external world. And it lets us know if we're safe or not. So we respond to stimulus according to how we've categorized it. Is it a danger or not?
Right.
So when I talk about the nervous system, I'm talking about the autonomic nervous system. I'm talking about, are we responding to something in a way that activates us or increases action in our body in preparation to do what we might need to do to be safe? So the nervous system takes in information, decides if we need to respond with fight, flight, or freeze. Those are categories of, do we take action and run? Do we take action and engage and fight?
Right.
Do we play dead? Those are the extremes, right?
Yeah.
But we do that in very subtle ways as well. When I talk about down regulating, it's also about the nervous system taking in information and deciding, I'm actually safe. So I don't need to respond in a way that creates protection. I can respond in a way that allows me to live more fully. So we sometimes talk about the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic response. Really, we also use terms like fight, flight, freeze versus rest and digest. So down regulating is when the nervous system switches, digestion comes on, we can feel that we're tired and we actually are slowed down enough that we can rest,
right,
sleep, do what we need to do. So I work with clients to notice the patterns of activation and notice how they can understand, am I safe in this moment? Can I let go? Can I allow that rest and digest to come on?
Happen. Right. So it sounds like your clients can deal with all kinds of different issues, like gut issues, like everything you're talking about has to do with everything we do every day. So like, can you narrow down, like, who are the clients you maybe enjoy working with the most, or you've seen the most like breakthrough from working with them, who seem more ready perhaps for that journey?
I think these days a lot of my clients find me because they've had post-concussion symptoms and they've been working through the physical impact and their body is still in the protection response. So I mean, our bodies are incredible, and I love being able to support the whole person and the whole body regardless of what has happened.
Right.
What clients do I like working with? I mean, all my clients, obviously.
They're all amazing.
But I also am really drawn to people who understand that it's not just what's in the physical body,
right?
But that we're made up of a physical body and then more than that. So how do we find balance in mind, spirit, body.
Yes.
And
Connection.
what is it to be, I think, working towards feeling good rather than I have this problem that I want resolved.
Right. Yeah. So it's more than just like surviving or taking away the pain, but it's about helping people thrive and feel alive and all that good stuff.
I mean, basically, from my perspective, I'm helping people become more whole-bodied or embodied, and letting go of the pain is a byproduct of that.
Right, right. So it's focusing on something much greater than just like, very cool.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone, before we go, what would you say to someone who's like, okay, that sounds really interesting. I don't know, like I'm a little bit afraid. What can I expect in a session? What would you say to them?
Yeah, well, I mean, fair, because I mean, some people can't even pronounce craniosacral. So where do you even go from there? It's really light. It's really non-invasive. Someone lies down on the table fully clothed. I touch in at different places. And sometimes it doesn't feel like anything is happening. Sometimes people feel a deep relaxation, or like they're in a wave pool, or like they've just experienced a deep meditative process. And then at the end, they feel lighter, less oriented to pain, and they just feel more energized and more themselves. So that's cool. It's a really gentle way to come back to yourself.
Love that. Gentle, non-invasive way to come back to yourself, working with the body and what it's already doing and what it wants to do, as opposed to what it's not ready for. I know I said that was my last question, but I want you to touch on like people like PTSD. Because I think post-concussion is linked to that. So for people who have experienced trauma, would you say that this is one of the better things that they could do to?
Yeah, I find, because this is client-led, it's a really safe way for people to start to interact with their experience. We take the time it takes. Each of my clients lead the process. They are the ones who are in charge. I'm not going to fix anything that's broken. I'm not going to adjust anything that's out of place. I'm going to support someone to be with how they are. And when they are resourced enough, they will reorganize in a way that lets go and comes back into a deeper, more healing-oriented way. So PTSD it can be a long journey.
Right.
And it can also, I guess I want to say, clients who have experienced trauma of any kind can really find resolution without having to relive an experience.
Right.
And that's why I like this work. We don't have to engage with the story or the experience in order to let it go.
I love that.
Me too.
I love that. Yeah. Like you can move forward without rehashing all the things.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, this was deep and meditative. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow for another day of 21 days of self-care. And we will put those journaling prompts in the description in case you want to spend some time just meditating on that. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.